Intriguing to think of weaver smiths and priests working side by side down here.
The preachers you grew up with would launch an hour-long diatribe at the very thought here.
An hour would just be the introduction. your strategy. Happy to weave that into your mantle.
Detailed scribblings with Xavier's name on them. Lots of sketched out designs, mostly in the margins.
Doors always help me think too.
Is that bottled magma?
I've got one. I can't believe it's still warm. And you can feel the magic pulsing through it.
I wonder if proximity to the coral has affected it in some way.
Think that's all I'm going to find down here. Get your research hat ready, Lane. There's a lot.
I do not need a hat. This is really very clever.
You figured it out then?
Yes, Xavier's idea was to use an alchemical process similar to what Dharm and I just did to treat the coals. Elements left over from weaving flame strands distilled and used to treat magma.
Literal magma? The blood of the earth?
Enchanted magma. Measured precisely from one of Xavier's containers, he could delicately control temperature in a forge or foundry.
Sola will be over the moon. I'll let her know.
And I'll collate the more technical details. They'll be ready when she is.
Magma. Can you believe it?
Is it not lava?
I thought it was only lava if it bubbled up from underground. But now I'll have to ask Lane.
You heard the news then?
Oh, I'm sorry, Bryn. We ruined the surprise.
It's fine. Just nice to see you so happy.
We're confident that between the two of us, we can make Xavier's plan work.
And I'm keen to try it out. I was up sketching all night, and I have an idea for some armor to act as a test. If it works, we'll gather more. The veil has to open someday, and with this magma, we could be on the road for months.
Or maybe we'll stay. Either option provides you many potential students.
Or maybe, just maybe,
We could do both.
we'll make it work. After we get this bloody enclave sorted out. Right, Bryn?
I have every faith we will.
Bryn, I was just thinking about how we managed to trap the heat of molten rock itself.
And you and your wife seem through a complicated patch?
I never doubted we would find a way through. This time was different than the other spats we've had. I am very grateful for your help. I would not know what to do without Sola. She is very much my guiding star.
You're welcome, you big romantic. Just keep talking to her, and the nights will be cloudless.
Indeed. Indeed.
So, I strongly suspect shenanigans, but also thank you.
About the stove?
Oh, absolutely. But shenanigans almost always come from a place of love.
Or lead to one?
Well said. And this forge is going to be invaluable, so we all benefit, including the future students I'm imagining up.
Any standouts in your illusory class?
There's a shy, red-headed lad named Carlos. He's going to go far. I just know it.
See those massive pipes running along the roof? Norian design. I recognized them earlier, and they prompted my investigation into the Norians and the Enclave.
Confirming your findings that the Norians were heavily involved in the tapestry.
This should be the place, Bryn. You're looking for tablets with a circle marked by 6 dots. They'll look blank, but I'll be able to read them when you bring them back.
You're full of useful secrets, Zev.
That's one of them, Bryn. I hoped they would still be down here.
What should we expect?
The Norians were experimenting without informing the Enclave on the aerolifts. They wanted them to do more than just moderate the weather. They wanted to control it.
They got tired of long winters? Gloomy days?
Think bigger. If you control the rain in a desert, you control the land itself. That should be enough for us to piece their research together, Bryn.
Will I be learning how Norians hide their information, Sev?
Yes. And if word gets out, we're both going to be hunted.
The best knowledge is always dangerous.
I've got you.
A frost strand. Happy to weave that into your mantle.
This must be the condensing chamber.
And then the priest says, that's not how you extinguish the holy flame.
I thought you never extinguished the holy flame.
They make certain exceptions when it threatens centuries-old tapestries.
You never talked about your time in the church.
They're not happy memories.
No, but they're yours.
Then let's not fight again so I have more time to share them.
That's unreasonable. Let's just make sure we're talking.
Of course, my love. After all, I love you like I love you.
I love you too.
I shouldn't be surprised the Norians use a fluid to conceal their secrets. It's ingenious, really. An acid of sorts that can etch the writing into the metal invisibly. And when you apply another compound, it oxidizes. It's like a legible rust, and yet, after you're done, you can just wipe it clean and it flakes off.
Medium aside, what did we learn?
As Sev expected, research on the aeroliths. It's a bit outside my speciality, so I passed it to Dharm.
And how are we feeling about Sev's revelations?
It's not like I've never kept things from my friends, and I generally keep them from my family, so I empathize. But I don't keep them from the band. Anyway, Dharm's waiting.
Lane said I should talk to you about the plates we found for Sev.
Perhaps you could walk with me?
Sure.
I have already passed my notes on. This conversation isn't about them. I wanted to ask how you're doing with regards to Sev.
Honestly, Tom, I try not to overthink it. Sev did nothing to hurt us, and he's clearly trying to contribute as we figure out what's next. That's what matters.
Oh, what must that be like? I overthink everything. While I don't share your pragmatism, I appreciate it immensely. What matters to me most is that you are doing well. We seem flung from crisis to crisis, and too often the load lands on your shoulders.
One step at a time. And with the best band a point could have at my side, we will figure this out.
Yes, we will. Ultimately, I will say this. There was a time in my life I walked away from everything I held most important. Sev is handling it better than I did. He's not angry or bitter, he's just working through the problem. It's kind of you to help him. I'm sure he appreciates it more than he'll ever be able to say. So I'm saying it for him. Sev already has my notes. Good luck in your endeavors.
Exciting news, Bryn.
You figured out how to clear the source?
Nothing quite that far along, but we are a step closer. As I suspected, the Norians were doing experiments not even Enclave leadership knew about. Not to just stabilize the weather, but directly control its extremes.
Which is pretty much what we're seeing the aeroliths do, here and now.
I honestly think that these experiments, left unattended, are the direct cause of the wild temperature changes. Likely contributed to the floods as well, though I suspect Asylum was the larger cause there. Regardless, if I can pick up where their research left off, we might have a solution to our problem at the source.
What did the Norians stand to gain controlling the weather anyway?
Their power base has always been in Taza, where the deserts need water to grow. Imagine being able to withhold rain or worsen heat at a whim. What kind of power would that give you? The kind the worst parts of the Order crave.
If we succeed, will we be able to stop the weather fluctuations entirely?
I hope so, in time. But the system has been out of control for years. For now, I want to focus on our immediate problem of the Source and the Surgeborn.
Did your research say anything about miasma and tangles?
No. Those phenomena are too new to be in the records you recovered, which are pre-Surge.
What will it take to move from might have a solution to definitely have a solution for the source?
The research you recovered focused on using patterns from creatures with natural flame and frost affinity. It used those patterns to briefly augment one part of the enchantments woven into an aerolith.
Use flame magic to tilt the aerolith hotter for a time?
Yes, exactly. And they had some success with it, proving the method's viable.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but too bad there aren't miasma creatures.
There's one, and Dharm already managed to recover some of its pattern.
But not enough?
Oh, absolutely enough. You've been working hard and it's paid off. I needed an exquisite resonance from all three types of magic. And we have that.
That's fantastic. Is that it then?
We're going to combine them with the Norian's notes and Dharm's studies of the Herald to build a device to influence the aeroliths. I gave the design to Sola. She said it should be doable, but wants your approval on which materials to use.
If this could pull miasma out of the source somehow, sign me up.
It's the most promising lead I have. And it's very promising indeed.
That was one of the most complicated things we've ever collectively assembled.
I hope it wasn't too much.
Not at all. The only tough part was Dom hovering the entire time. He's enthralled with this device.
Oh, well,
I'm teasing you, Seth. I'm not sure if you'll still be my apprentice after all this, but I will tease you.
No more learning to smith.
Now. I'm not saying that. We just need to figure out what comes next together. Which brings me to the question of the hour. You were already a Norian. Why did you want to be my apprentice anyway?
Rambralem.
Oh! That makes so much more sense. You could have just told me.
That's a cultural thing for you, isn't it?
Oh, you know. Yes. Very much so. But yes, Sola. I'm sorry. I was afraid if you dug too hard into my past, you might learn about the Norians.
And they don't like people digging.
No, they truly don't. That is your answer, though.
And this is your intricate doodad. I cannot wait to see what it does.
This airlift should be perfect, Bryn.
Right. done.
That's all we needed. The others have been helping me with a little project on the side. A surprise for you.
No hints.
You'll see.
What has Seth been building? What's all this, big guy?
The culmination of all our efforts, Bryn.
He wanted it to be a surprise.
Consider me impressed. But what exactly does it do?
He hasn't told you?
As Casman said, I wanted it to be a surprise.
Sev, we all do better work with context. This is something you're going to need to get used to.
Yeah. You're a weaver now. I heard you say so yourself.
It's the culmination of a Norian dream. But unlike them, I'm not going to use it to put a nation in a stranglehold. No. I'm going to change the weather. For you.
For me?
Yes. It will take some resources, so let's be judicious, but yes. We can change the weather before your expeditions.
So all those patterns I collected.
Critical to calibrating things. Weather and miasma alike. The creatures have been exposed to so many wild environmental swings. They were affected in ways I could use to calibrate to the aerolith's patterns.
And that's what Dom was helping with?
Everyone has helped Bryn. Literally everyone. No politics, no backstabbing. I could get used to this.
Good. All that stuff wastes time and energy.
You said this will take resources. Am I hunting more patterns, or...?
Nothing so dire.
Bryn, you've got enough to worry about. Let us sort it. We'll treat it just like upgrading the camp. Maybe I end up trading with the Hearthsiders. Maybe we do a little alchemy. We'll handle it.
Well, this is incredible. What's involved with actually making it happen?
Well, it's not simple for me. But for you, I'll keep it simple. If we want to make a change before you leave, we can do it as part of the preparation. The aeroliths are all connected. And the device we created will let me give them let's call it a shove, for a day or so.
We've run some limited tests, and everything holds up. It's really rather ingenious.
And we'll give you quite the edge. Imagine tossing a drought when a frost creature is hunting.
It can affect miasma, too, yes?
Yes, it can. What we don't know is what effect it can have on the source directly. Let me run some more tests. But I'm optimistic we have a solution. In the meantime, the Enclave's our sandbox now. Just ask if you want me to change things.
How are you feeling about Sev, Sola?
Delighted.
Not upset to lose an apprentice?
I'll find more. Lots of talent among the Hearthsiders, according to the Axle. And that's perfect. They'll learn quick, just like Sev did. I'm proud of him. And controlling the weather itself. Incredible. I've learned from a lot of years on the road that change is the natural way of things.
Our time in the Enclave has certainly proven that.
Anticipating change and finding joy in it, the best thing you can do in your life.
Okay, let's take that again. I'm sorry. I needed a moment to step back and refocus after going off about Stanild. I am, I think, okay now.
I'm impressed. Not everyone can pull themselves out of that kind of anger.
A hard-won skill. When I first made head of the Scouts, Stanild did everything he could to undercut me. His favorite trick was poking and prodding until I lost my cool. Always worked.
You've seemed pretty together around him when I've been there.
Yeah. I started practicing Valanshir.
What's that?
The intersection between meditation, bare-hand combat, and breathing exercises. There's a complete series of whole-body motions, painfully slow, moving from pose to pose while controlling your breathing. But at the end, just before you reach the final pose, you explode into the final position, usually exhaling hard like, ha!
And that helps.
Oh yeah. It's a solid workout controlling your motions, but the real struggle is the mental focus, which can be exhausting, but after a few months of practice, it's like being able to slide into that calm headspace on command. Few deep breaths and Stanild can't touch me. Well, except when he puts my people in danger with his ego.
My mum used to say I could use some impulse control. Maybe I should get some lessons from you. And again, I'm truly sorry to hear about the losses. We'll make their sacrifices meaningful.
Yes, we will. Whatever it takes. Bryn, have I ever told you you're a genuinely impressive person?
Thanks. What brought that on?
Oria told me the story about you joining the band. Sounds like your last one was awful, but you stuck with it.
In comparison, joining Oria's group was like that first nice day after a brutal winter.
That's probably more relatable if I grew up in a mountain pass, huh?
No feeling like it. Temperatures that would have felt awful in autumn feel like a summer's day. And there's this endless, soft, watery trickle of everything melting.
Sounds incredible. Think you'll go back?
I have to. My mum and I did not part on the best terms. And while we've made up in letters, I owe her the biggest hug. And I want my dad to see how far I've come. Don't think he expected me to take up the sword, but he's always been supportive.
Maybe I could tag along. I feel like I've been denied something being literally stuck in here.
I don't know how comfortable I'd be sneaking the head of the Scouts out of the Enclave. I know it's got to be tempting to leave that duty, but these people do need you.
Yeah, that's the truth. Sometimes wish it weren't, but you're right. Oh well, maybe someday I'll go traveling. If we ever get the veil down, that is. Remember when we were talking about the Eye mobilizing? You said he's doing what we wanted, right?
I did. In retrospect, maybe a bad call.
No, it wasn't. We were playing a game, applying pressure. He responded. Poorly, of course. And even though it went terribly, we get to pick up the pieces now. Not some incompetent bureaucrat.
Hey you. How's my favorite point doing?
Really well, like always. Thought I'd see how you were holding up.
Still reeling a little from the attack, but getting my feet back under me. Forces me to be up all day more often than I should. I should talk to Dom about that, actually.
Dom uses some kind of sleep aid. Lane could help you with that.
Oh, are they the secret weapon? I wondered how Dom does it. I can stay up past noon regularly, but I wear down if I do it too much.
To be fair, I think that's just Dom. Fueled by his love of enchantment and solar in equal measure. You should talk to Lane. I'd miss you if you were sleeping all day. I think Dom splits his sleep so he can be up with Solar, and she does something similar. They make it work.
It's not like you have the most regular sleeping schedule yourself.
Are you saying you'd like to stay up to spend time with me too?
Yeah, I am.
You look thoughtful.
I've had something on my mind, actually. You have a moment to talk somewhere quieter?
Of course. Your lead. It's nice to have a moment alone.
I admire your band very much, but do enjoy that my room in the hold offers some privacy and a door I can close.
Not a lot of doors around here, that's true.
Sometimes I just need to close out the world and think.
Speaking of, what's on your mind right now?
You, to a distracting amount. The way you move smoothly through life. How direct and certain you are.
I just try to meet people where they are.
That's also how you move when you fight. It's got an elegance. It's got strength. It's exceptional. And yet, I can't help thinking I shouldn't let my brain drift to you. There's big, real, deadly problems to solve. And we come from different worlds. You're so well-traveled, you've seen things, and I've been here. Just here. So, yeah. There's a lot of reasons it might not work, but I like you. A lot. I'm afraid to risk the friendship, but I need to take a chance that there could be an us.
What's the one thing we most have in common, Eric?
We are thrill seekers?
Risk takers.
Then we're doing this.
If we're both feeling it, we'd be fools to let circumstance get in the way. And neither of us are fools. So yeah, we're doing this.
Feels like I've been waiting to hear that since I met you.
Just kiss me.
I'm gonna risk bringing up the fact that we met because I was running surveillance on you by telling you that my first report was that the band's point seems tireless. As it turns out, I did not know the half of it.
You hold your own pretty well, too. For a guy stuck behind a scry half the time.
Not by choice.
How did you make Head Scout, anyway? You don't seem the type. Not that you're bad at it, just inclination.
Not something I like to talk about much. Messy business. But I can tell you, my predecessor was involved in some kind of mission gone wrong, where most of his team were badly wounded. He was given a discharge, and I was as close to a successor as he had.
If you were his protege, why weren't you there with him?
He was explicitly told to keep me out of it. I think it was so I wouldn't know what happened. That will make sense when the story's done.
Weren't people watching the scry to pull them out?
It was deemed so secret, only one person could be trusted with the scry. I'm sure you can guess whom. The Eye at the time. Stanild.
What happened to everyone on the mission?
Most discharged with honors. Went back to civilian life around the hold. They wouldn't talk about what happened, but all were provided for. That part, at least, was noble.
What were they doing that was so dangerous?
No one knew for years, and they wouldn't say. Especially the former head of the Scouts, who landed a cushy place high up the valley. But I went digging after Stanild's removal. Lots of secrets suddenly open if you're friends with Yaxel and ask the right questions. And that mission had always sat odd with me. Sure enough, it was to capture a Surgeborn.
The Talon, then.
Yes. Under Stanild's direct order and supervision. He's good at overseeing disasters. Also, he could question it, form what he thought was a plan, and look like a hero. I'm more upset about that than I realized. Felt good to get it out to someone I can trust.
Not just trust, I hope.
Oh, much, much more than that. Speaking of, catch you later? If you're not too tired.
You know me. Tireless.